Good evening and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. And as always, we're back with another massive show to bring you guys this evening. But before we jump into that, please do make sure to smash a like on the video. And if this is your first time watching the show, please do subscribe, bottom right hand corner. So on the show this evening, we're going to be talking about a story coming out from Laurie Whitwell in The Athletic this afternoon, saying that apparently Richard Arnold is expected to leave Manchester United. We will, of course, be talking about that. We'll be getting my reaction, talking about who it looks like could be replacing him and some other things. We'll also be talking about Manchester United announcing record revenue today for the year 2023. We'll be talking about that. And we'll also, of course, be talking about this Garnacho ban. People are probably wondering, what is this ban about? We will give you all the details on why it looks like the FA are considering banning Garnacho from the Premier League. It's not good, to be honest, when we get into it. But as always, get involved in the comment section, get involved in the live chat. Let me know your thoughts on everything we discuss on today's show. Lots of other bits to get into as well. We've got some updates on Jadon Sancho, some team news ahead of the game against Man City on Saturday. Lots and lots to get into. So do get involved. Let me know your thoughts on everything we discuss on today's show. And let's jump straight on into it. So on the show, let's focus on this. Let's start off with the Jadon Sancho one, because a couple of different journalists have been speaking about Jadon Sancho this afternoon. So let's start out with Laurie Whitwell. Of course, writes for The Athletic here in the UK. Very credible journalist, someone I really, really like. Tier 1 journalist, compared to, obviously, we were speaking about Neil Custis from The Sun this morning, who had said that David De Gea was going to join Manchester United again. Neil Custis is a tier 5. Laurie Whitwell's a tier 1. He's a credible source. So he's just come out saying the following. He says the Saudi route is considered the most plausible route for Jadon Sancho. European teams will struggle to match Jadon Sancho's salary. Dortmund can't even afford half of Jadon Sancho's salary. Any departure, however, would require Jadon Sancho's agreement. We spoke about this so many times on the channel. I know people are sick to death of Jadon Sancho, but he is obviously one of the most important bits of transfer business. I think it's going to be the most important one of this year. And the reason why that is because we desperately need to strengthen our wing positions, in my opinion. Yes, Garnacho's good, but it looks like he might be being banned. We'll talk about that in a minute. Yes, Rashford was good last season, not good this season. Anthony, I think the verdict still isn't out. Some people like him, some people don't. I think our wing is a massive issue. You know, none of our wingers are able to cross the ball. Rashford's got no confidence. Anthony doesn't seem to be able to take on a man. And Jadon Sancho was this £73 million player that we brought in specifically to solve those issues 2 seasons ago. That hasn't worked out. He's got to go. But for me, letting Jadon Sancho go allows us to then bring in somebody to replace him. And I think that's where the most important bit of this story is. Now, we've got another journalist coming out this afternoon saying as well, backing up that same story, saying that Saudi Arabia is increasingly looking like the most likely way out of Manchester United for Jadon Sancho. It goes on to say that Jadon Sancho is now desperate to leave the club in January. So it looks like he's pushing for this move. You know what my stance is on this, right? Jadon Sancho has to go. We know this 110%. And I honestly think that if he goes to Saudi Arabia, that would be the best thing for us, because we'll get a fee, probably somewhere around 30 to 40 million. Obviously, they'll be able to comfortably cover his wages. We know that Al Ettifaq, the team that Steven Gerrard is managing, were reportedly interested in him at the end of the season. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think about that one. Let me know what you think about Jadon Sancho. Saudi Arabia, for me, that is the best move, 110%. And I want you guys to let me know in the comment section, right, and in the live chat, who do you think would be a good replacement for Jadon Sancho? Because if he goes to Saudi, we'll definitely get a fee for him. I would imagine 30 to 40 million. And we'll also obviously clear all his wages, around 300 grand a week, and we'll then be able to sign a replacement. I want you to let me know in the comment section who that might be. For me, somebody like Chiesa from Juventus, I think he would be a quality addition. He's an incredible player. But let me know who you guys would like to see in the comment section, and I look forward to seeing them. Right, let's move on to the next story, though. Let's talk a little bit about Garnacho, because I can see lots of people in the chat getting quite concerned, let's say. People are getting concerned about this Garnacho story. Now, let me give you a bit of background context into what is happened here. So obviously, we all know Manchester United on Tuesday beat Copenhagen, and Onana pulled off probably one of the most incredible moments of our season so far. Let's be honest. The season has been awful, but for him to save that penalty, the last kick of the game, it was absolutely incredible. And fair play to him, right? Now, straight after the game, All of the players obviously were on Twitter, Instagram. Harry Maguire was posting. Everyone was having a bit of fun. Garnacho went on Twitter and on Instagram, and he posted a picture of Onana, celebrating saving the goal, and he put the emoji of a gorilla. I mean, I don't know what to make of this, but from where I'm sitting, I don't think it's good for Garnacho personally. Now, I'm sure he didn't mean any harm. I'm sure that I don't know. Obviously, we don't know what his intentions were. Okay, so I'm not going to get into trying to get into the mind of Garnacho to understand why he did what he did, But obviously, you can see why that's going to be problematic, can't you? Like, we don't have to go into why that's problematic. But so this is coming out from Manchester Evening News. It says Garnacho could face disciplinary action from the FA over a social media post in which he used a gorilla emoji over a picture of Andre Onana's penalty save. It goes on to say that Garnacho quickly deleted the post once advised of the potential racist connotations involved, but the FA is aware of it and could now charge him with a breach of guidelines around racially sensitive social media posts. I don't know how long this ban could be. It's very difficult to say, isn't it? Let's hope that he's sat down and he said that, to be honest, I just say to him, don't go on social media. If you don't know how to, control yourself on social media, then maybe just don't use it, or maybe pay a company to use it. I think it's pretty crazy. We'll have to wait and see. What comes of this, won't we? We know that the FA are very hot on these types of things. We know that they're very quick to hand out fines and to hand out bans and to hand out any form of punishment to people that they feel have done something wrong. Maybe he'll get a big fine. But at the moment, it looks like they are considering banning him. The story now goes on to say as well, Manchester Evening News are reporting that the FA have now been in touch with Manchester United to get Garnacho's observations over social media posts from Tuesday night. So the FA are investigating this now. I've seen the tweet. Obviously, it has been deleted now, but there is, it's still circulating this picture where on Twitter he's posted a gorilla emoji with a picture of Onana saving the penalty underneath it. It's a difficult one, it is, isn't it? And we'll have to wait and see what happens. The Athletic are also running the same headline. The Athletic are saying that Manchester United's Garnacho is now at risk of ban over Andre Onana's social media post. It says Garnacho is at risk of a Football Association, the FA, ban over a social media post regarding Manchester United teammate Andre Onana. It says Garnacho posted a celebratory post on Twitter following Manchester United's 1-0 Champions League win over Copenhagen, where Onana saved a stoppage time penalty. The Argentinian international included 2 gorilla emojis in the since deleted post alongside a picture of Onana, teammates and himself celebrating. The FA are aware of the post in question and have sought Garnacho's observation on it. Manchester United have been approached for comment. It then goes on to say that there are precedents for the FA punishing players for similar social media posts. In 2020, Edison Cavani was given a 3-game ban and fined £100,000 after using the word, it's been blanked out, but it says N something, in a comment on Instagram. I think I remember when that happened. Do you remember Edison Cavani posted, I think it meant black in Uruguayan or whatever language they speak in. Is it Spanish they speak in Uruguay? Let me have a look. What language do they speak in Uruguay? Hold on, let me just check this. I don't want to get my facts wrong. Okay, they speak Spanish. So, it was a couple of years ago. Edison Cavani posted an image. I can't remember what player it was of, but he writ black in Spanish. But black in Spanish, if you translate it, or if you read it in English, it looks like a racist word, right? It's mad, isn't it? It's a difficult one to get your head around. Let's carry on with the rest of the story, though, because I'm getting a little bit sidetracked there. It says, so Edison Cavani was given a 3-game ban and fined £100,000 after a similar situation in 2020. It says in which he was thanking a young fan. It says the phrase loosely translates to thanks little black boy, or it can also mean guy with black hair. Cavani deleted the comment and apologised. The Uruguayan was still punished by an independent commission after admitting an FA charge of misconduct for an aggravated breach of the rules relating to racism. It also then says as well, a year before, Manchester City's Bernardo Silva was fined £50,000 and banned for 1 match for comparing a photo of teammate Benjamin Mendy as a child with the mascot for Spanish chocolate brand Conguitos. So there's been quite a few instances in the past where similar things have happened. The worst being obviously Edison Cavani being banned for 3 games and getting a big fine. I would imagine that that's probably what will happen here. He'll probably get slapped with a big fine and maybe 2 or 3 games ban. Yeah. I mean, it's mad, isn't it? It's absolutely mad. Like, when I saw it on Twitter, I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that Garnacho's racist at all, obviously. But I knew that it was going to be problematic when I saw it being posted. Like, come on. It like, whatever you think about it, whether you think that this is, a UK problem, I don't know. But it was always going to be an issue, isn't it? We'll have to wait and see what happens on that one. Obviously, I'll keep you updated. I don't think it will affect, the next couple of games, but the FA are investigating it. And as I said, Edison Cavani had a similar incident a couple of years ago and got a 3-game ban and a £100,000 fine. So at this point in time, obviously I don't want to speculate, but I don't imagine it'll be any worse than that. A 3-game ban tops and a big fine, which is obviously disappointing for him because I'm sure that he didn't mean any harm in it, but, those are the rules, I guess, isn't it? But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I assume everybody's going to agree that it's a bit of a difficult topic to talk about, of course. Let's see what people are saying in the chat this evening. Everybody who's just joined, please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner, if you are new. Let's have a look. Jihan says he needs to be banned for a very, very long time. Imagine how Onana feels. We have a racist in our team. Very sad. Players are taking the knee over incidents just like this. The thing is, right, it's a difficult one to talk about because when you say what you've just said there, it's actually hard to argue with you. It is, because you don't know, really. Only he knows in his head what he was trying to get across, right? It might have just been having a bit of a laugh, or there might be something more serious behind it. We don't know. So we'll have to just leave it up to the FA to make their decision on this. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat this evening. Paul says, this is not for everyone else to judge. Onana should be asked. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Joshua says, the tweet is racist, whether he meant it or not. And I think, it's probably, you make a good point, I can't really argue with that. I can't. And I think that, yeah, I don't know. It's a very difficult one. And when I saw it, I was like, this is going to be problematic. It is. And it has already become problematic. It's already something to talk about. It's another issue at Manchester United. It seems to be a constant thing, doesn't it? There seems to be constantly something over and over again. Yeah, I don't know. Right, anyway, let's move on with the rest of the show, though, because I think we could just talk about that forever and ever, couldn't we? Let's talk a little bit about this Richard Arnold story. So this is coming out from, again, Laurie Whitwell in The Athletic, a journalist I really like, somebody who I think is reliable, tier 1 journalist. And he is reporting this evening that Manchester United chief executive Richard Arnold is expected to leave the club. He says Richard Arnold is expected to leave his role at Manchester United in the event of Sir Jim Ratcliffe succeeding in his bid for a minority stake. It says that Ratcliffe wants sporting control, and part of his plan is to shake up the club structure. While not technically a football decision, Arnold understands his departure would be likely in that scenario. The exact timeline for his exit, should a deal go through, remains unclear, though. Given the complexities of Ratcliffe's bid, the process could yet take several weeks, and in that period, Arnold will continue to lead the club. So just to be clear, Richard Arnold will remain as the CEO for the time being, but it does look like when Sir Jim Ratcliffe takes over, he will go, which I think is the correct decision. I do think that's the right decision, and I do think he needs to go. Yeah, I think he definitely needs to go. There's no argument about that. Both him and John Murtagh, Richard Arnold have been a failure for me, both of them. So yeah, they both need to go. And I want you guys to let me know in the comment section who would be your next CEO and who would be your next director of football. At this moment in time, sat here now, it looks like Paul Mitchell is the favourite to become the director of football. And JeanClaude Blanc, who used to be at Juventus, is looking like the most likely CEO. Let me know what you guys think about that. Is there somebody else you have in mind? I always like to see what you guys have to say. So Laurie Whitwell says that Richard Arnold is expected to leave, blah, blah, blah. He says JeanClaude Blanc is now being considered to replace him. So yeah, it looks like he is the number one favourite to be the new CEO of Manchester United, JeanClaude Blanc. Anybody who doesn't know much about him, I can give you a bit of a background on him very, very quickly. Obviously, he's French, 60 years of age. He was at Juventus for quite some time. He's done all sorts of different things in football. He's been part of the Tour de France cycling. He's done the French Open. he's done a lot from a financial business perspective in the game. Maybe not so much of football. His only real big job in football was the CEO of Juventus. And before that, he was the marketing manager or executive at PSG. So he has worked in 2 big jobs in the footballing world. But I would say that Juventus is the bigger one. And he is officially the Ineos sports CEO. So he's the top person in sport at Ineos. And obviously he's going to now come into Manchester United if Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid is accepted, which we do expect to be accepted. Somebody's asking in the chat if he's any good. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I don't really know. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Let me see if I can find out. I don't know what he did at Juventus and if his time was, successful. Let's have a look. So there's a French article here. It says smooth operator on a mission with Ineos. It says JeanClaude Blanc is rated one of the best sports executives in the world, with a member of the Ineos team telling L'Equipe, he is brilliant, he is a super pro who is excellent in building relationship, his arrival is fantastic for us. So I think he was quite highly sought after. As I said, obviously he's been involved in the Tour de France at a very top level, in the French Open. He's been involved in lots of different sporting projects at a very high level. So I think he is, I think he's a good person from what I can understand of this situation. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat this evening. Somebody says this is not an issue being made an issue. It's similar to Cavani's situation. An ape can very much symbolise strength or beast. Okay, fair enough. That's obviously your opinion, but the FA are the governing body of England and they've decided it is an issue. Rajat says he wants Paul Mitchell. Daniel says he wants Ralph to come back. Yeah, Paul says the Glazers said they didn't like being called up by the Qataris. So with 25% of the shares, the Glazers will let Sir Jim Ratcliffe get rid of their allies, which makes it look like the Glazers employed the wrong people. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. It does send mixed signals, doesn't it? It's like, we don't like the Qataris saying that we've done a bad job. So let's bring somebody in, give them 25% of the club, and then let them do everything differently. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit strange, isn't it? And I do somewhat agree with you actually there. Right, let's move on with the rest of the show though. I will come back to that story in a minute. Everybody who's just joined, please do smash a like. We've got 400 of you watching this evening and only 85 likes. So please do go and like if you haven't already. Doesn't cost any money. It brings more people into the chat. It brings more people into the stream. So please do smash a like. Please do subscribe, bottom right hand corner. And let's crack on with the rest of the show. Let's talk about this record revenue then, because I know some of you are interested in this and some of you aren't, but I think it is important to show that Manchester United is still doing very, very well financially. So Manchester United today have released their latest financial results. So this is for the whole of 2022. So from January the 1st, 2022 to the end of December 2022. And those figures, those stats show that Manchester United made £648.4 million in that year. That's revenue, and it was the record for any club, is my understanding, ever in one financial year. And the key story that they're all running with this afternoon, which of course is to be expected, is that no dividends were taken. So that's what all of these media who've been briefed on this story today are saying, to put out there that the Glazers haven't taken any dividends, and that's the most important thing. No dividends were taken. We're making money. It'll be interesting to see what our revenue's like this year. I would imagine it will be more, because obviously last year we were in the Europa League, weren't we? Whereas this year we'll be in the Champions League. So I would expect our revenue to be even higher this year, but obviously we'll have to wait and see around this time next year when we find out what our 2023 revenue will be. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. The reason I bring this into the show is I think it's important because it shows that even though we're doing terribly on the pitch, our revenue grows year on year on year. We're one of, if not the most profitable sports companies, whatever you want to call it, football teams in world football. We are. And for us to make this type of money, still, with all of this takeover stuff going on, with obviously not being in the Champions League next season, it shows just the level of where Manchester United are. Whether we think that we're good on the pitch or whatever, the Glazers don't really care about that. We know that. And all they care about is money. That's been very, very clear since day one. And I think that they are still making money. How we can stop that, I don't really know, to be honest with you, because the football matches will continue to sell out. The brands and the sponsors will continue to start throwing money at us because we have such a big fan base. We have millions, hundreds of millions of fans all around the world which buy into Manchester United, buy the shirts. by the sponsors of the shirts products, whether that be TeamViewer, whether that be, when it was like DHL and all of these things. And Manchester United is an attractive thing, whether we're doing well on the pitch or not. Whereas, you look at Man City, they've just won a treble, but like, it's not the same, is it? Like, how many people do you see walking around in Man City shirts? Like, hardly any. I'm sure in 20 years' time, there will be loads, but at the moment, I think it's very, very different. We're still this super club on a financial scale, but maybe not on a footballing side. Let's have a look at what people are saying. Viva Garnacho says we should bring in Nico Williams for Sancho. That would be a really nice idea. I like the sound of that. He's unbelievable, Nico Williams. How old is he these days, though? I feel like he's getting on a bit. Oh, no, I'm completely wrong. I'm thinking of Inachi. Who am I thinking of? Maybe I'm thinking of his brother. Has he got a brother, Nico Williams? I think I'm thinking of his brother. I might have just made that up. Who am I thinking of? Yeah, Inaki Williams. Yeah, I was thinking of Inaki Williams. I've not actually seen much of Nico Williams. I know Inaki Williams was incredible, wasn't he? 29 years of age now. Nico Williams is his younger brother. I'll have a look into him. I don't know that much about him. Marcus says they make money when the stocks jump. What else we got? Viva Garnacho says, this fan base is the most overrated fan base I've seen. Look at AC Milan, empty the stadiums and get their voice heard, but we don't do anything. We got to step up. I hear you, mate. Like, it's easy to say stuff like that, but, like, yeah, I don't know. Somebody's saying Onana has posted. Okay, let me have a look. I'll have a quick look on that for you really, really quickly. Okay, Onana has just done a post. Onana's posted 2 minutes ago. So I'm going to read this out for you now. This is literally come out in the last couple of seconds. So Onana has reacted to the Garnacho situation. Let me just check this is the official account. Yeah, it's the official account. So he's posted on his Twitter. He says the following. This is Onana's official tweet in relation to Garnacho posting a picture of him with monkey emojis after the game against Copenhagen. He says, Onana says the following. He says, people cannot choose what I should be offended by. I know exactly what Garnacho meant. Power and strength. This matter should go no further. There you go then. I mean, a lot of you were saying that in the chat, and a lot of you were saying that the only person who can answer this situation really is Onana, because it's so easy to be like, that's not okay, but we don't know what their relationship is, do we? It's not like they're enemies and he's posting up some cryptic, horrible message about somebody. Like, they're teammates. So fair play to Onana to putting this out, because obviously there's talk of bans, there's talk of financial, implications for Garnacho. There's obviously some people, rival fans, probably saying, "Oh, you've got a racist in your team," and all the, there's already this agenda building amongst tabloids and amongst certain areas of the fan base against Garnacho. So I have the utmost respect for Onana for putting this story out. I really, really respect that. I do. So fair play to Onana. And as he says, this matter should go further. The FA should investigate it, but they should look at this tweet and they should understand what the reason is for Garnacho doing this, and that, it hasn't caused offence and it doesn't need to be an issue. Obviously, the FA do have to investigate it. They're not just going to drop the investigation because Onana's tweeted. That's the stupid. They're not going to do that. They'll have to investigate it. But I think that he has done the correct thing here by putting this tweet out, and I think that it is, it does clear it up a lot for me, But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that one. I'm quite glad that that's happened at the end of the show, because obviously the beginning of it was really negative. Some people in the chat saying he's a racist, other people saying this is stupid, some people saying, why are we talking about this, and there's been already it's creating the divide again, where some people think one thing and others think other. Jihan says, okay, if Onana says that, then that's the end of the issue. Nick says, well said, Onana, but will they listen? Yeah, fair enough, yeah. Viva Garnacho says, Andre Onana, my keeper. Cobra says the FA should investigate City instead. Dantes says they were hugging at the end of the game. Of course it wasn't racism, stupidity, and you shouldn't have leaned on understanding any other way. Don't pander to race baiters. All I said, right, was that the FA should investigate it, because that's the whole point of the FA. The FA's job is the governing body to investigate things that happen in football. You have to investigate it. Mark says gorilla emojis will be banned next. Jihan says the problem is, why use that animal? Use an elephant next time. Elephants have power and strength. Use a tiger. I think the thing is, right, Onana has said he's happy. Okay? Onana's happy. No harm was meant or no harm was intended. So I think from my perspective, I can move on from that. I still think that the FA will investigate it, and they should do. Whether the big question is, will the FA acknowledge what Onana has said here? Probably not. The FA will probably ban him and give him a fine because that's what the FA do. The FA are obsessed with giving out fines and giving out bans, yet Man City are sat there with, 140 charges against them. Everton are looking like they're going to get a 12-point deduction from one charge, whereas Man City have got over 100 and nothing has happened. I mean, there's levels to this game, isn't there? It's an absolute joke, isn't it? It really, really is. Somebody says people like to dig into things and misrepresent what things mean so they can feel offended. There's no reason why Garnacho would be racist towards a teammate that he clearly cares for. Fair enough. Yeah, so I think that's it, We've got to the end of the show here. Thank you so much to everybody who has joined me. Thank you to everyone who has been respectful and mature in the beginning of the show when we were obviously talking about all of this stuff. I think it's, it's something that you have to discuss, and it's something that you can't just shy away from. And I'm glad that by the time the show's come to an end, we've reached a bit of a natural conclusion. We've reached a natural conclusion. Onana's put out his opinion, which is effectively the most important thing here, isn't it? It doesn't really matter what the FA thinks, because the person who is the main topic of this discussion has come out and said that, explained to them what that tweet meant. So anyway, thank you so much to everyone who's joined me on the show this evening. I really, really do appreciate you all. Please do make sure to smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new here. I will be back live tomorrow. It might be a little bit closer to 9 tomorrow. But yeah, thank you so much to everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go, bottom right-hand corner, and I'll speak to you all a bit later.